Good afternoon, friends. At this stage of the afternoon, it's an opportunity for me to introduce this beautiful group of people who meet each month. We form the Toowoomba Interfaith Working Group. We've received a number of questions via text. That's part of the way we're trying to capture questions now, so that the questions can be quite focused and we don't have a long commentary from people. So just so that everybody has a chance to say who they are, I'm going to pass the microphone first to my friend Stephen Wanyoni, and then he'll pass it down along the row until it gets to Ari at the end. So you'll have a chance to hear which faiths are represented, who the people are here, and where it is they're living and working. So I'll hand over the mic now to Stephen.
Thanks, Bishop. My name is Stephen. I'm the chaplaincy coordinator at the University of Southern Queensland, and by faith, I'm a Christian.
Thank you. I'm Uchin, and I'm part of the Toowoomba Interfaith Working Group, Buddhist representative, and part of Pure Land Learning College Association. Thank you.
Sawan Narayan, an Indian by origin and a Hindu by faith. I'm a nurse by profession. I've been associated with Pure Land Learning College since 2012, and I'm learning to work forward.
I'm Cam Athwal. My full name is Kamaljit Kaur Athwal. Not everybody can say that, so it's been made shorter, so Cam is easier to say. I'm from the Sikh faith, and I've been with Pure Land Learning College for a few years now. Thank you to Mr. Hanif, who you can't say no to. And I did work for the Australian Taxation Office, and I have retired now, so I'm trying to give some back to the community. Thank you.
My name's Evelyn Ray. I'm Director of Public Affairs for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Ipswich, Toowoomba and Warwick regions. I'm a retired physiotherapist, mother of 5, grandmother of 14.
Wow.
Just recently.
I'm Tessu Kim Watson. I'm clerk of the Queensland Quakers. Clerk means chairman, but without any authority. And I used to be deputy university librarian at the USQ.
Arsalon Falorti, who loves you very much.
My name is Jagdish Narayan. I'm a Christian. I belong to Christadelphian Bible Mission, and by profession, I'm a chartered accountant.
My name is Nicole. I'm from the Catholic tradition. I'm married to Brett. We have 4 children, and I'm an ecumenical pastoral carer at Toowoomba Hospital.
Abdul Qadir, we can say Abdul Qadir, Imam Toowoomba Mosque, Muslim faith.
My name is John Agnew. I profess to be a Christian, and I worship at the Uniting Church.
Hi, I'm Ari. I've been involved in interfaith for about 14, 15 years. I was younger then. And I'm from the Jewish tradition, one of them.
And I'm Richard Tierton. I'm the General Secretary of Queensland Churches Together, an ecumenical organisation here in Queensland. I'm an Anglican priest, and I have a title called Canon, which means I'm part of the cathedral in Brisbane.
Thank you. What a great bunch of people. Can we please affirm them with applause? You'll see that different genders, male and female, different ages, young and not so young, and engaged in different ways. One of the ways we're trying to capture questions at this conference is for people to text through their questions, and they go to Zona and Mei Ling down there. There's still time. We've received 6 questions, and we'll see how we go in response to that. The first question actually goes to TIWG member Cam. It's great. We share a name. Cam Athwal, what are the 5 articles of Sikh faith, and what is the most challenging one of these for the Sikh community to keep in Australia?
Thank you, Cam. That's my twin brother, by the way.
It's a great thing.
As I said, I am from the Sikh faith, and not many people are aware of the Sikh faith in Australia. It's just over the last few years that we've had more Sikhs coming to Australia that they're finding out who the Sikhs are. The Sikhs, we have a ceremony that's called Amrit Sanchar, which is when someone takes the holy water, if you want to call it that. Sometimes people call it baptism. I don't think it's quite a baptism as such, but you're actually initiated into the faith when you go through the Amrit Sanchar. Now, somebody who's had the Amrit is called an Amritari. An Amritari is supposed to have 5 articles of faith on them, as well as certain prayers that they have to do every day, and their behavior in the general community as well. It's got to be up to the standard for you to take Amrit for a start. But Cam's asked me more about the 5 articles of faith, so I'll talk about the 5 articles of faith. They are referred to as the Panch Kakar. And because each article starts with a K, they're referred to as the 5 Ks of the Sikh faith. Now, the first one is Kes. Kes is hair, uncut hair. Now, you'll notice Sikh men have long beards, and ladies have long hair. Some of them hide them in a turban like I do. But we don't cut our hair. And the reason for that is we accept what's God given us and made us the way He has made us. So we don't want to change His creation. So we keep everything as it is, as He's made us. Hair is also associated with spirituality. You know, if we go back and look at many religious people or spiritual people in our own communities back many hundred years, people never used to cut their hair. So we don't cut our hair because it also has the spiritual significance. Now, to have hair, we're also supposed to keep it very clean. So the second K is a small comb, a wooden comb, called a kanga. And we keep that in our hair. Now, our hair is knotted up into a bun at the top of the head, and we tuck the comb underneath the hair. Now, the comb is there to keep the hair clean, but also our minds and our thoughts clean. So that's what that sort of represents. The next one is Kada. And you've probably seen many Sikhs wear a steel or an iron band. I don't call it a bracelet anymore because of legal issues, because if you go to school and you're wearing a Kada, the schools will argue with you that you're wearing jewelry. So if the schools, so I refer to it as a steel or an iron band, because if I call it a bracelet, then you get into the technicalities of wearing jewelry to school. So that is one of the issues that the Sikhs have when they have their children going to school. And what the Kada represents, it's round. That there's no beginning or end to God. God's always there. He was there in the past, He's here now. He'll be here in the future when we are all gone. And it's also, like some people will refer to it as a handcuff to God, because you're attached to God all the time through the Kada. And the other thing is that it stops you from doing wrong, and it's worn on your dominant wrist. So if I'm going to do something wrong, the Kada is going to remind me that, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. So again, it's sort of checking your mind to see are you doing the right thing. The fourth one is undergarments, and they're called kashara. The kashara is like shorts, but with a drawstring. Now, if we go back to situations of war, whether it's going back in history or current war, what happens when there's war? There's looting, there's raping. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who gave us these 5 articles of faith, is our 10th Guru. He said that my Sikhs will not rape. They will look out for the oppressed. So the drawstrings that we wear, the undergarments, are there, one, for respect for other people. Secondly, also as a commitment to your partner. So that's the kashara. The 5th one is a kirpan, which is a small sword-like, a small sword, I suppose we could call it that. It's made up of 2 symbols, kirpa and an. Kirpa is respect. I think I've got that wrong. But kirpa and an, respect and dignity. That's what that represents. And it's a constant reminder, again, it's an article of faith that reminds us that we are to look out for the oppressed. So we can't stand back when there's injustice happening. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave us these five articles of faith so that a Sikh would be seen in a million. So when you're out there and you see someone wearing a turban, you know that person is a Sikh. And that you can turn to a Sikh for help. So if you're in a situation of oppression or you're having hardship at home, you haven't got a job, you want to feed your children, you should be able to go to a Sikh and say, look, I need that help. So those are the 5 articles of faith. And really run through those articles of faith. I don't call them symbols. They're not symbols. They're actual articles that we have on ourselves at all times. We can't be parted from these articles. We have them on us 24/7. I can go into details about each one because people will ask me about the underwear. How do you do that? But I won't go into that one just yet. The one that's very challenging, or 2 of them that are very challenging to the Sikh community is the kirpan and the kada, which is the bracelet or the band, as I refer to. When our children are playing sports, especially in Australia, the Australians don't have the full understanding of a Sikh. They'll say, you can't wear that because it's jewelry. And we'll give them solutions like I can wear a sweatband over it, or I can have a material that I can wrap around it, because I know what their concerns are and I'm understanding. They're afraid that if they're running and another child's finger gets caught in the kara, you know, he could break his finger. We understand that. So we're giving a solution that we can, you know, wear a sweatband. Oh no, sorry. The rules say you can't wear jewelry. So those are the kind of issues we have with the kara. The kirpan, now, people see it as a weapon. But when you look at it from the Sikh faith, it is not a weapon. And it's an honor to wear it because I know when I'm wearing it, when I'm wearing 24/7, is that I'm here not just for myself. I'm here for everyone. Whether they're rich or poor, it doesn't matter. Whether they're black or white, whether they're Sikh or Muslim or Hindu or Christian or Jains, whatever. I'm here for them because they're all people of God, children of God. Now, in Queensland, we approached the police ourselves saying that we wear a kirpan, we wear it under our clothes, because that's the way it should be worn. We don't want you to see it as a concealed weapon, because if they see it as a concealed weapon, we'll all be behind bars. So we don't want to break the law, and it took us a good 4 to 5 years to ask them to look at the legislation and make changes to it so we could legally wear a kirpan. Now I'm having further issues with it. Having achieved that, when the legislation came through and Police Commissioner Bob Atkinson, the then Police Minister Neil Roberts, were very, very helpful, very supportive. What happened, there was a fatality in a school where a child was stabbed. And knee-jerk reaction, you can't wear a kirpan in a school. Now professionals, teachers, lecturers, photocopy repairmen, tradesmen, tradesladies, every time you go into school, what are you doing? You're breaking the law. And I've been talking to the education department, to the police, to everyone I can think of, to see can we try and resolve this, to give an awareness to the general community and remove that part of that legislation. And I found out recently, when we had the big bash a couple of years ago over here, some of our Sikh youth went to watch the game at the Gabba, and they were told, no, you can't take your kirpan in there. Come on, Indians, cricket. Thank you for your comment this morning, Richard. But Sikhs have to compromise their faith to watch a cricket match. And when I questioned that, I said, oh, no. We put a box there, we don't even touch it. You put it in there, then you go inside. When you come back out, you can take it. See, for them, that's a perfect solution. But from the understanding of a Sikh, you can't be parted by it. So what did the young men do and the young ladies? Okay, don't worry, we will go home and watch it on TV. And they didn't even ask for a refund. And I was a bit annoyed about that, because they should have. to make some noise, but that's how humble they were. They just left it and said, can you help us out and try and sort this? So I've got this ongoing battle with Cricket Australia, and now I'm at the stage where they're not even responding to my letters, but I'm not giving up just yet. Sorry, it's probably taken up more time.
Thank you, Cam. It's been fascinating.
Thank you.
Fascinating. Can you please pass the microphone that way, all the way to the end? There's a question here for a TIWG member, Ari. Not a light one, I have to say, my brother. Please, can you share your vision of how the Palestinian-Israeli conflict can be resolved peacefully?
Very simple. You get people in there who have got the courage and guts to stand up and have a conversation. They did it in Northern Ireland. I'm 90% Celtic. So people thought Northern Ireland, never going to happen. People stood up, people sat down, people talked. And being Jewish was a bit embarrassing, but they had a Good Friday agreement. I thought every Friday was a Good Friday, but apparently not. So how's it going to happen there? It's going to be the same things. Take it out of the hands of the politicians, give it to the hands of the people. Have people with open hearts, with honest hearts, who are happy to sit down and talk about it. If you go into any meeting with a prescribed set of beliefs and achievements that you have done, you're not going to get anywhere. So until people open their hearts and realise that you can do it and they should do it and that's what the people want, you're going to have bupkis. Once you have people saying that, yes, we can do it, you will have peace in about 10 minutes. I don't get upset about politics, I'm just generally upset. So, yes, that's the answer.
Thanks, Ari. That was probably the most succinct response to that question I've ever heard. Next question actually goes to Taisu Kim Watson. The Quakers are known for their use of silence in their gatherings. Can you explain why you do this and if there are any problems?
We call ourselves friends, the religious society of friends, Quakers, arose out of the traditional Christian churches in 1650 in England. We rejected, or Quakers rejected, structural church hierarchies and the concept of consecrated ground and fixed forms of service. Quaker meetings consist of an hour of silence where we listen to that of God within us. Worshipping is our response to an awareness of God. We can worship alone, but when we join with others in expectant waiting, we may discover a deeper sense of God's presence. We seek a gathered stillness in our meeting for worship, so that all may feel the power of God's of love, drawing us together and leading us. Quakers have been very, very, how can I say, unconditional about violence. And in 1660, we utterly deny all outward wars and the strife and the fightings with the outward weapons for any end or under any pretense whatsoever. And this is our testimony to the whole world. It's unconditional, and we don't compromise, we don't negotiate. And that testimony was sent to the King Charles II. We are not sure if he read it, but we sent it to him. And this is one of our most important testimonies when we try to live accordingly.
Thanks, Taisu. It's amazing, actually, to think of a church gathering with 1 hour of silence. Actually, quite a number of church gatherings I've gone to where I would have wished for an hour of silence, but they were, because sometimes we can get quite adversarial in that. Actually, if the microphone can go that way to Imam, TIWG member Imam Abdul Kader, in the diverse Islamic community of Toowoomba, what are the main challenges that you face as Imam?
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting question. is challenging. And that's what I face, challenge. People come from every corner of the world with a particular narrow understanding of Islam. And being paid by the community, so the community actually pay me money. So everyone wants his version of understanding to be implemented through my tongue. And I says, no, you can't impose me, you can't dictate me. So my freedom of thought is the most challenging when I work as imam. Does that make sense? That's it.
Thank you. That's very succinct. There's a lot in that. Tough. Actually, next question is for Sawan. Sawan, in the Hindu faith, how open are men to the leadership of women?
Well, if you talk about faith or religion, it is a different story from what we actually do. Faith accepts women at the highest regard. You all women sitting here will know that you are all goddess. Every quality a goddess has, a woman has. And it is the woman who runs the house. And men do know that. Men are God's gift to women. This is very traditional, very traditional Hindu. So, if you accept those two statements, you will be forever loving and respecting each other. And you will, if you question the other, you are questioning God. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So, we have the power in our hands. We are all, I showed you the picture of Durga or Lakshmi. Lakshmi is goddess who looks after our economic well-being. We all have it. We control the economics in the house. Husband works, gives us the money, we control the house. Anyway, long and short of it is that religion does not. Faith allows us equality. We do not have to fight for it. It's there. We just have to practice it. At no point should women put their head down and start crying and say, I didn't get my way. If we didn't, then we didn't, some way we missed, jumped the gun. Do you understand that? See, they all agree.
Sure.
Did you get it?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Sawan, thank you. The challenge for all of us men is to go now to the women in our lives and say, you are a goddess. Just imagine the look on my wife's face when I get back this evening and say, you are a goddess. She will look at me and say, what have you done wrong? We actually had a wonderful Palestinian priest come and stay with us for a week, and he would always call my daughters little princess. And after he left, my daughters would say, Dad, why don't you call us little princess? It's amazing how you get different insights into different things. Next question goes to John Agnew. So it goes along the way that way. John is from the Uniting Church. John, can you share with us some of the challenges being faced by the Uniting Church at this time in response to the legislation that legally enables same-sex marriage?
Thank you, Cameron. I'm not sure it's not really in response to the legislation, but regardless of the legislation, the Uniting Church Assembly, which is a national body that had on its agenda same-sex marriage. And at that assembly meeting, the decision was made that we now have two marriage rights. We have a marriage right for a man and a woman, or a male and a female, sorry, to be married, and we also have a marriage right for two people of the same gender to be married. And so that has, in the Uniting Church, we have the Synod, but that's state-based, but National Assembly. And people who go to Assembly go there not representing anybody, but we go there to discern God's will. And I'm not going to say that the national vote had nothing to do with that discernment. I'm not sure. That's for other people to say. But certainly that's... So as they don't represent people back home, as that decision has come back to the grassroots, that has caused some consternation. Congregations have left and will leave the Uniting Church, and individuals have resigned, and some are looking at ways forward. So how many resign, I'm not real sure at this point in time, but there will be more, depending on where we go from here, I suppose, and discussions that's happening. But I would like to say, though, as well, since that decision was made, the friendship that I've received from the Toowoomba Interfaith Working Group hasn't changed.
Thanks, John. I think it's fantastic to hear how the Uniting Church is working that. I think it's a challenge for all faith communities throughout Australia. So the Uniting Church are not alone, but I think you're probably ahead in the public discussion around that and in the decision making around that. So thank you for your response in that way.
We are the colours of Australia, sharing one destiny. We are the colours of Australia, footprints and faces, culture and places, painting a picture of harmony.
From the first Australians to all who've come across the seas, accepting, respecting each way of living, we will become one community.
We are the colours of Australia, sharing one destiny. We are the colours of Australia, footprints and faces, culture and places, painting a picture